Hi, I'm Perry and I live on a 55-foot narrowboat and travel around having lovely adventures in Tilly Teacup, my self-converted transit van. I used to have an allotment, but I gave it up because I was rubbish at it. And this is my life in a teacup.
Excuse me. Right, well, first of all, how is everybody? Hope everyone's well. I am so sorry, it's been quite a while, so much so that a couple of my subscribers, oh, and I love them, they've commented to say, "Hi Perry, hope you're well?" question mark, because it's been ages. And of course, the last conversation was the MRI, so I do apologise, but I have big news and there's lots going on. Hold on a sec, I've got a lot to do. This might be a bit of a long one, so you might want to, grab yourself a cup of tea. So let's discuss the MRI first of all. Hold on a second. Yes, I'm back. So let's discuss the MRI. Okay. Failed miserably. And I'm so embarrassed. I really am so embarrassed. I mean, children have to go through these things. Now, as you know, I've been through it before, twice before, because when I had breast cancer and all of that. And I didn't like it, obviously, but I didn't create. I did what I had to do, and there you go. But it was, I went, two young nurses, I mean, bless them. And I lay down, obviously, and as soon as they put this cage on my head, I was like, oh my God. And they said, "Shall we wheel you in a little bit?" So they sort of pushed me a little bit, and I said, "No, can you take?" I started to go really dizzy. I mean, it's pathetic. Don't you think it's pathetic? A woman my age, bloody hell. And I must say, I'm very, very embarrassed. I couldn't go through with it. They tried a couple of times, and in the end I said, "I'm sorry, can you not, can we make another appointment to, and I could be sedated or something?" And they said I would have to go back to the doctor or back to my consultant to be referred again. And I felt terrible because I'm wasting somebody's appointment. That's what got me, as I said before. But I'm sorry, I couldn't go through with it. So I'm very embarrassed and I feel awful. So much so that what I'm going to do, however, I've discovered there's an MRI that you can actually sit in. It's costly to the NHS, so I don't want to go down that road again. I would rather pay so that I don't drain the NHS. But I will see what happens when I've spoken to my consultant. So you sit in it, and so it's all open, there's just walls here, and you sit like that. And yes, they put something on your head, but I can just stand up and walk out. I think you feel more vulnerable when you're led down. I don't know. Anyway, bloody epic fail. So I apologise for being such a wuss. Let's go through that again. So the big news is, on the 1st of May, which is 1 week today, and I don't know if you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm packing because I have decided, after much deliberation, now I knew about this a few months ago, obviously. Oops, that's making a bit of a crunchy sound, isn't it? I could never work in a removal company, look at that. Still, at least it's protected. Yeah, I decided quite a few months ago, and I didn't say anything because I didn't know whether I was going to go through with it. It's time. It's time to sell my beautiful boat. I'm heartbroken. I keep welling up because unless you're a boater, I don't think anyone can understand the bond you have with this tube of steel, this tonnage that you float around the canals of the UK on. There is just this love relationship, and I can't explain it. And as I said, only boaters will understand how I feel. Maybe van lifers with their vans, it's their home, and maybe it's a similar thing. If they have to change their van, or their van breaks down and they have to get a new one or whatever because you've made it yours. I mean, yes, I know it's the same, with houses. You might leave one house and be sad to leave it because you're going on something else. But there is something infinitely, I can't even think of a word to express it, how we feel about our boats. So the time has come. The reasons being, there's lots of reasons really. I mean, it's nearly 10 and a half years now that I've been floating around on the water. And as you know, I'm sort of getting older. Now, don't get me wrong, I can still lift my gas bottles and I can still do my coal and bow haul my boat and all of that I've talked about before. But I just think as I get older, and the boat gets older, the boat will obviously decrease in value as she gets older. I mean, she's 32 years old now. And whilst they hold their value to a certain extent, obviously the older she gets, the more work she'll need doing. And I will then have to pay for that. And that will eat into my savings. And it's all I have to last me for the rest of my days. So I made the very hard decision to look for a cottage. Now, I'm renting. You know, I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm going to rent a cottage. I found this beautiful little 1-bedroom cottage in North Wales. I used to live in Wales before, as I might have mentioned. I'm sure I did. So I've decided to sort of go back to North Wales. And it's not far from Battersea Coed and Snowdonia and all those beautiful places that I have been to but can't wait to go again because it was a very, very long time ago. So it's 1 bedroom. It's very bijou. It's very cute. But of course, I'm used to living at smaller spaces, if you like. But it'll be strange having to go upstairs to bed when I just have to walk along that corridor there. So yes, the boat is going up for sale. If anyone's interested, 47,500 all in. Lots of extras with it as well. Well, you never know. Somebody out there might think, oh God, I love her boat. I'd like to buy it. So yeah. The cottage, like I say, is, I mean, it's got beautiful views of sort of Welsh hills and things like that. And it's only a small village. And I will continue to vlog. Of course I will, because I've got other things that I'm going on to. But I laid in bed last night and I had a little tear because it's really sad. I mean, I love her. I really love her. But also, it's going to release some money so that in the future, you know, I'll be able to, if my van breaks down, well, actually, I'm going to get another van. I think. I don't want it all singing or dancing again, much like I've got Tilly now at the moment. But I think I'd like one because I'm going to spend more time in the van. I love semi-van life. I mean, I'm not a van lifer, obviously, but I do love being out in my van. And I've had a couple of trips, which I'm going to attach to this. In fact, the trip was going to see the cottage that I am going to live in. And it's beautiful. I went all up, they call it the Horseshoe Pass. It goes around Llangollen in North Wales. And yeah, there was some stunning views. So I will attach that to this. And yeah, shocked? Are you shocked? Am I doing the right thing? Who knows? I mean, the way I look at it is, I mean, she's going to take quite a while to sell. So like I said, I'm moving on the 1st into this cottage. And again, the reason I've chosen to rent, well, to be honest, I can't really afford to buy. But I've always said this, and I'm, you know, if any of you are living like this, I'm not knocking how anyone lives. I'm just talking about how I would feel. I cannot see the point of me, say, living on this boat, but I don't have the money to repair her when the equity is sitting in this boat. I can't see the point in living in a house that's worth, say, £300,000, more or less, whatever. You've paid off your mortgage, you're of a certain age. It's the middle of winter and you can't afford to pay your electricity bill or your heating bill, yet you're sitting on £300,000. I don't get it. I know some people say my family were brought up in this house and this is where all my memories are, and I've lost my husband and my husband is here, you know, all the memories and everything. I get that bit, but I don't understand why you struggle. I know some people say, well, I want to leave it to the children. Well, the children can do what they do. You'll leave them something. I just think, again, that's just my opinion. I just don't see the point in living in a property when that's worth a lot of money and you're sitting on all that equity, yet you can't afford to live. I mean, there's still so much out there that I want to do. So this will release some equity, add it to my little bit of savings. If anything goes wrong at the property, the roof leaks, the plumbing goes, you just ring the landlord and they deal with it. So that's a nice thing as well. I don't have the responsibility anymore. However, when I was reading through the contract, there are obviously do's and don'ts. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I'm a grown woman. What are you telling me what to do? They're standard contracts and they don't really, I mean, no contract's worth the paper it's written on anyway. But, you know, I mean, I've been a landlord myself. I've had houses that I rented out in the past and I know how to behave and I know how to keep clean and I know all of that. I don't need to be told. I know some people do. But it is going to be hard going from something I own to something that somebody else's owns. But by having my van, whether it's Tilly or the newer one that I get, that will be my baby, the van. That will be my baby. So that will be like my boat, if you like, and I'll be, you know, using the cottage as a base. It is a pretty little cottage, and I can't wait to show you all the way around. So yes, now I need to get this uploaded rather quickly. You know, I'll probably try and do that this evening. Today is, I actually don't know what the date is. I don't know, it's just after Easter. So where are we? It's Thursday after Easter. I honestly, I don't know where I am. I really don't. 20-something. I don't know where the time is going. But like I say, this time next week, I will be trundling up to North Wales, picking up the keys, and moving into my new house. So I will vlog. I will take a video of what it looks like now while it's empty, and maybe take you through, you know, as I add things to it. And I've got to buy, I mean, this is going to be the nice thing. I have to buy everything because obviously the cooker is inbuilt, as it is in a lot of places, I suppose. The fridge is here, the settee will stay, the bed is built in. I've got no furniture. I've got the washing machine. I could take the washing machine, but it's a pain in the backside to get out because it was sort of built around, if you like. Well, not built around, but you have to take the doors off in the bathroom to take it out. And it's a Zanussi, fabulous machine. It's on at the moment. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's only 3 kilo because it was just, and I'll need a bigger one for the gap in the house, you know, in the kitchen, in the new house, there's a gap. And if I put my little one in, it'll be floating. So I'll get a sort of 7 kilo or whatever. So I've got to buy a bed and a settee and a washing machine and a fridge. And I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't done that for you. Oh, can't remember the last time I bought a settee. Oh yes, I can. When I rejigged the boat and sort of, you know, upcycled her inside or whatever you do, and I bought the settee that's here, that will stay here. It's a bed settee. So, right, well, I'm going to crack on with my packing, and I might talk to you later. But there's some big news. Well, I think it's big news. You might think, oh, so she's selling her boat, so what? But this has been part of my vlog, this has. So it's a big change for me after, like I say, 10.5 years. So listen, I'll speak to you later. Enjoy the videos that are to come. I might put some music on, but I won't speak, okay? But if I speak, I won't put any music on. I'll see you guys later, bye. So this was the campsite that I stayed in the night before I went to see the cottage that I'm about to move into. Now I'll spell it because I can't pronounce it. SYCHPWLL. I think the PWLL is like pull or something. Anyway, and it's in Llandrillo in North Wales. Well, actually, I think it was Powys. It wasn't in North Wales, it was Powys. So this is me driving in, and this great big field. I had this all to myself, which was wonderful. There was a smaller field at the back, and there were a couple of vans in there, and I chose to go into the larger field, and because they said I could go wherever I liked. So I pulled up here, and as you can see, they've mowed the pitches, so the pitches are all cut out, and then they leave the other parts of the grass to grow, you know, for the wildlife and the bees and things like that, which I think is really good. So yeah, and it was really comfortable. I had a lovely peaceful evening, and the people that owned it, Seb and his wife and his mum, I met his mum, Sally. She was really nice. Lots of little artefacts around here that were dotted around the place. My grandma used to have one of these. What was it called? A hand wringer or something. There's another cob house. There was one as I drove in. Now this, the kitchen, as it said, it's fabulous because if you're camping in a tent, there's a proper dining table with chairs and a cooker and fridges, washing up facilities. You could really make use of it. And then on the interior walls, they put glass so you can see how the cob house was built, which I thought was an interesting fact, you know, for you to look and study and read up on it. So yeah, it was really nice. And there's the fridges there. Look, the door's open in the background. Now, you know me, I do love a quirky toilet wherever I go. Something to look at while you're sitting and pondering. There's another one of the cob houses that Seb's dad had built years and years ago. And again, just these lovely things that are just dotted around, giving it sort of character. There I am, look, all on my little lonesome, and it was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were a few things dotted around. There was these sort of hoops, half hoops that you could walk through. I mean, there's nothing growing over them, but this was beautiful. His dad had grown these trees to form this arch. Thought it was fab. afternoon, peeps, and relax. So, I've just noticed, you can't see it from there, but this cup's got a crack in it. I've packed everything, haven't I? That was, I was supposed, as I was going through everything, I was going to throw that away and put it to one side, got really carried away, packed everything in sight. So I've got a mug and that left. I've packed plates, I've only got a bowl left. Mind you, I do a lot of cooking on top of the stove and it tends to go into a bowl, you know, and I sort of sit there. So, what a week it's been. I thought I'd hop in here just to do a little catch up before I upload, because of course in the video that I made that I attached to this, when I was chatting to you just a moment ago, I said that I would upload it that evening. And I think that was, what was that? Was that Friday? No, I can't remember when it was. Well, today's Saturday. No, it couldn't have been Friday. It was a couple of days ago, wasn't it? Yeah. So today is Saturday and I've just been so busy packing. And in fact, I've done really well. I think I've done really well. I don't show you what it looks like because everything's gone. Well, I say it's gone. It's coming with me, but it's all loaded in the van. So it's been a very, very busy week. And unusually, I've been getting up really early. It's not like me. I normally don't sort of wake up till about 9 o'clock, maybe because of what's to come. You know, I've been sort of waking up at 7 and sort of getting up about 8 after I've scrolled for an hour, like a lot of us do. But no, I'm really pleased with the way it's gone. Thrown loads away. Oh, the crap I've kept. Do you find that? You know, if you're moving, it's either when you're packing up to leave the property that you're in, or when you actually arrive and you start to put things out and you go, why have I kept this? Why did I keep it? So, I mean, 4 black plastic bags have gone down already. So I'm really pleased about that. I've given some bits away as well. I gave some chairs away and I found some couple of bottles of wine because I used to drink a lot like anybody, but I don't enjoy sitting with a glass of wine on my own. I never have done. So I don't drink. So I had a bottle of Prosecco and I had a bottle of wine and I gave it to my friend Pam, you know, just because I just wasn't going to drink it. So I thought, well, I'll give it to Pam and gave away some chairs. I've sold my lawnmower. It's coming to pick it up in a minute. So I put that up on Facebook Marketplace and sold it. So I'm pleased about that. So it is all coming together. Poor Tilly Teacup. She's rammed to the hilt with boxes. Though I'm lucky because I'm actually physically moving into the cottage on the 1st and taking the majority of the stuff with me. As I mentioned before, the boat isn't leaving here till the 12th to go to the brokerage. So I will be back round about the 9th to give her a good clean and wash the curtains and do a couple of sort of paint touch-up things. And anything that's left, like my bike, you know, Gertrude, my lovely sit-up and beg bike, that will all come with me on the last trip. So I don't have to worry too much about now. But yeah, it's a bit strange, I have to say. I took a video of the cottage when I went to view it, just a very quick one. And I keep looking at it and going, right, okay, this can go here and that can go there. And I've ordered my bed. Ooh, that's nice. So my bed will be here on the 2nd. I'll just sleep on. I've got it's not an air bed. I had it when I was car camping. It's a memory foam self-inflating camping mattress thing. So I'm just going to sleep on that on the floor for the first night, and the bed arrives the second down there. Yeah, I've had a few moments. Not, like I said, I know I'm doing the right thing, but I adore this boat, you know, like I said before. But I've been so busy, I haven't had time to think about it. Now, a friend of mine said, sorry, before I go on, I haven't said, how are you? Because this is a few days later, even though I only spoke to you a few moments ago. Hope everyone's all right. It's the weekend. I hope you've got things planned for the weekend and that you're going to have a nice time, whatever you do. So going back to what I was saying, a friend of mine said, would I take anything with me as a memento from the boat? And I thought, no, because I've got memories and I've got so many videos and pictures. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But there was one thing I considered. When I bought the boat, there was I think what it is. I think what it would have been originally was a milk churn. Not the one with the 2 handles on the side, but a carry one. And it's sort of quite bulbous at the bottom and goes up. And it's quite heavy. It's made of, I don't know, steel, I don't know, it's made of, anyway, some metal or something or other. So yeah, and it's got a wooden lid around, and it's like a seat, you can sit on it. And it's painted in the canal art of traditional roses. I don't know if any of you are aware, most of you probably are. But way back in traditional times, when a lot of freight was moved up and down the canals, a lot of the boats, and there's more of a reason than this, and I don't know what it is, I have to say, but it was a tradition that on their doors or their hatch doors or something, there would be what they call castles and roses. I must find out, after 10.5 years on the water, living on a canal boat, I ought to really find out what that came from. I might look that up actually before I finally leave the water. But yeah, so there's all these castles and roses hand painted, and they look beautiful. Now on this milk churn, for want of a better thing, it had been painted with the canal art roses. It's a real style to it. And I'll take a picture and I'll pop it alongside so you can see what I'm babbling on about. And I thought about taking it, and I thought, no, I'm not going to. I'll leave it for the new owners. But what I am going to take, I'll show you this. Oh, you see this? Can you see? Right. This is, I believe, a coupling. I think that's what they call it. So it was for the prop shaft. So the prop shaft goes in through there, or through there, whichever way, comes out the other end, and then is attached out through the boat to the propeller. So the prop shaft goes round in there and the propeller's on the end of it. Now it's solid brass and it weighs, I mean, honestly, it does weigh several pounds. It's quite heavy. Can you see that split? Can you see it? That there? My proudest moment, that. I did that. Seriously, I did that. What happened was, I hadn't had the boat that long, probably about 6 months, and I hadn't driven it that often because I was working then. I had my wedding business, so I very rarely got time to go out on the water. I was just sort of living on it. And one day I'm sort of taking it up the canal, and now, the other thing you learn to do when you're driving an narrow boat is if you have to turn the boat around, the one thing that is a nightmare in boating is the wind. It is your worst enemy, because I can just be trundling along and a big gust of wind will go, and my bow, especially my bow, woo, she's like that, woo, you know, because obviously all the steering is done from the back, and this boat is nearly 55 feet long. So it's, you know, you're steering from the back and the bow is going like that. And what you learn to do is, if you're turning on a canal, you turn with the wind. So you let the wind take you for the way that you want to turn it. So you either go back out with your backside or you go bow, depending, again, you do it with the wind. This particular time I hadn't learnt that little trick, and I was trying to turn against the wind and the boat would not turn. As I'm trying to turn her, all she's doing is doing this with the wind is pushing her. So I panicked a little bit because there were some boats on the opposite side. Now, my boat has got what they call a speed wheel. So it's got a forward, backward, neutral for the gears, and for the acceleration, it's a speed wheel. Because it's built in the traditional style, my boat, but most boats have a lever, you know, slow, medium, fast, and then gears. And what you're supposed to do is, if you're maneuvering, if you're going to change the gear, you don't just change the gear, you're supposed to slow down. So with me, I'm supposed to slow my speed wheel a bit, change gear, do my maneuver, and then speed up again. But because I panicked a little bit, I didn't do that. Now I'm in full pelt because I'm panicking and I'm trying to make the boat go faster so she'll go round faster and all this sort of stuff. And I was about to hit a boat ahead of me and I slammed it into reverse without slowing it down. I had this almighty bang. I thought, oh God, what have I done? What have I done? So next thing, I've got no gears. I've got no forward, but you know, it wouldn't do anything. I can't do anything. There's no power. It's just gone. And I'm floating around in the wind and I'm thinking, oh God, now what am I going to do? Luckily, I didn't hit the boat opposite, but at one point, luckily for me, the wind started to take the boat closer to the bank, and there was a guy on the bank, and I threw in my rope, shouted out through the rope, help, help, could you help pull me in? Once I got real, I moored her up and that was out. But there was a guy on a boat further down, and he walked up to me and he said that he'd heard the bang And was I okay? And I said, yeah. I said, I think something's happened to my prop. And he was like, nah, that's gears, that is. I recognise that sound, that's gears. I thought, yeah, right, don't mansplain me, for God's sake. So, though he was trying to be helpful. And I said, oh, I'll get it sorted out. I'll call the rescue people. But in the meantime, while I was waiting for them to come, and in fact, they wanted that much money. And when they got there, they sucked air through the teeth, and I told them to get lost, and I got a friend to come and tow me into the marina, and I got someone to fix it there. Anyway, that's digressing. I lifted up the floor to look down, because a prop runs from the engine room under the floor right out through the boatman's cabin under the floor and through the back to the propeller outside, obviously. The prop shaft was lying right on the bed of the boat, right on the floor of the boat. It had sheared that and, of course, fallen out of it. And there it was, lying very sad. I'm thinking, oh my God, my prop's going to come off, but it didn't. Very sad, lying on the floor, and I got towed in. So that's the story of what I did to this massive, heavy piece of brass. Thank God that's all it was. Oh, if I'd have damaged the prop and everything. So what I'm going to do with this, I don't like brass as a colour, I really don't, but I might leave it. I'll clean it, but I won't brasso it. I won't make it all shiny. But I'm going to get a little glass vase, put that in there, and I'm going to keep fresh flowers on it in my desk, in my cottage. And that'll be my reminder of this beautiful boat. Oh, I'm getting all teary. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Ooh. Yeah, so that's going to be my little reminder. I suppose I better crack on, really. Lots to do. The next time you'll see me, I might do a little vlog on the way up. I don't know yet, but sit down nattering will be in my new cottage. So I will again wish you all a fabulous weekend. Thank you so much for watching. And thanks for subscribing and all your lovely comments. As always, I so appreciate it. I really, really do. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And here we go. Another adventures in the life of Perry. You take care, guys. I'll speak to you soon.
So
Bye.
here's a picture of my coal scuttle / milk churn, whatever it was. Apparently in the mid-19th century, as canal transport began to decline with the intro of the railways and everything carrying the freight, it was used to sort of pretty up the boats, and theories suggest it links to Romany caravan folk art. The boat women and boatmen of that era were very proud of all their art.